company, they were able to evacuate a lot of people from this building. We believe this structure to be about 800,000 square feet. So this is an extraordinarily large building. Right now we think, we have indications that this fire started as a result of a mechanical process inside of the building. We have a lot of interviews to do, but right now that's what we believe. We believe there was a mechanical process in the building. We do believe that the employees did attempt to extinguish the fire, but it got ahead of them. They did the right thing. They got their people out. This is what we call a partially protected building. There are sprinkler systems in some part of the building. I don't know if they were right where this fire started or not. We've not gotten that far yet. Currently, the fire is not under control. However, it is contained. Inside is a two-story structure, and we're working on both the first and second floors. We are actively engaged interior as well as exterior. We will continue to be so for quite some time. Back to the fireboats. It's very unusual that we have such an extensive marine operation, but that is the case on this fire. We have 2 Baltimore City fireboats here, and I've got 2 other boats here. I believe they're from Baltimore County. And to help augment the water supply, they're actually pumping from the harbor to units on land. So water has not been an issue here because we've had such an extensive marine operation. Again, there are no injuries reported either to civilians or firefighters. We do have some minor traffic disruptions in the area. BPD is here with me if there's any questions regarding that. There was a little bit of traffic alteration up towards 95 and 895. We've worked with MDTA police. We're actually going to demobilize some of these roadblocks up there, so we're going to be able to get traffic moving again. I'll stop there. I'm sure there's questions. I'll take any questions you might have. Yeah, so the mechanical process I spoke about does involve a conveyor belt. Now, whether it was the belt, the machinery that powers it, we're not sure yet. We do know that there are combustible liquids that are part of a conveyor process, especially in a building like this. So some light lube oils and things like that are involved. But until our investigators can get in there, do the interviews that need to be done, there's a lot of people standing behind us. Until we can actually get in there and get the interviews done and look at it ourselves, we're speculating at this point it's in that area.
Can you give us any kind of like ballpark timeline, just how long it's going to take to really get to really be familiar with what happened here, just given the size and scale?
So we have to make sure the fire's out first. As I said, it's a 2-story building. You see it wrapped in aluminum, right? But inside there's 2 stories there, and the fire was high in the building, and it did vent itself over there. But we also think there might be some horizontal fire spread down behind the walls. So we're having to get in there, kind of pull the skin off the walls, if you will, and make sure we've got all that fire. And once we do that, they can get in there.
Any chemicals, anything dangerous in here was an issue for you?
We had the combustible lube oils in there. We're not aware of any other chemicals at this point, but we do have elements of the hazmat team here, and they'll be looking at that as well.
Do you know how many people had to be evacuated?
I don't. There's a large group behind us. I don't know how many, but again, this is at least 800,000 square feet. So there are a lot of people that work here. I don't have an exact number on that.
I also heard that the railways had to be stopped on the radio. I'm not sure if that's...
So behind us, there's a rail yard behind us, and then it's state property. It's port property. We had to cut through a fence behind us and actually lay hose line out across the rail line into the state property to access a hydrant to help us fight fire on that side of the building. So there's been a temporary shutdown there. I don't know if it's CSX, maybe Canton Railway has some property down here as well, but yes, there's a temporary stop.
I know that they make drywall, for lack of a better word. They make fire-safe drywall, which kind of seems like an oxymoron because there's paintwork on the
I'm not sure yet. There's a lot that's done in here, and I'm not sure where in the building certain things are done and where certain products may be stored. So, you know, there's areas where they may have a lot of paper and things like that, and this could be there. I just don't know yet until we could actually get in there and look around.
And if you guys don't mind, this is the third enormous scene that your team, that your firefighters have responded to in maybe a week. I know it's your job, but how's your department doing? Are people tired? How are they doing?
Well, I would say, of course they are. You know, these fires I've spoken today on 2 and 3 hour fires. That's one thing. But when you spend all day on one of these and you still work at night, yeah, it absolutely does. Like I said last week, this is another example of where sound tactical decisions were made here by our initial chiefs, and just good firefighting techniques were done here. It's windy again, right? We talk about the wind all the time. It seems to be our luck. This fire certainly had the potential to just go right down this building horizontally. They got in front of it and they cut it off. There's a lot of ladder trucks up. They're up in the air above it. They're inside. They're on ladders inside. They're working all over the inside of this building. So yeah, this has been the third very labor-intensive fire that we've had, you know, since last Friday.
Good. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Did you guys want anything?